And the next scene that I saw was Jesus handing that letter to Maureen as an angel in heaven and giving her the assignment to give it to me, which is just so crazy. So that was really cool. And then I saw another scene. The scenes are flipping now, almost like vignettes, quickly in my mind. And the next scene I saw is me on the hallway phone, because back in the day, there wasn't even phones in every room. There was a hallway phone, and I was calling, and the frat boys, if you remember that last story, who answered the phone are talking to me, and I'm arguing, and he's whispering in my ear, "You don't need her anymore. You have me. You don't need her anymore. You have me." And he's saying it over and over. And then the next scene, I see Maureen with me as a child. I'm about 5 or 6 years old, and my sister and I are sitting on the back of our powder blue station wagon at a drive-in movie. And we're sitting there with Candy, swinging our legs on the back of this station wagon, and she's sitting with me. And I'm like, whoa, is she my guardian angel? So in my video about the love letter that was given to me by the person who led me to Christ, I had always suspected that she was an angel, because if you watch that episode, she disappeared. But if you haven't watched that episode, please watch that episode, and I will link it below this episode so you don't miss it. But anyway, I had always wondered if she was an angel. And in 2016, for my doctorate, I was taking a class called Prayers That Heal the Heart. It is a deliverance and healing class. Soul healing is a method where you invite Jesus to a painful past trauma in your life. You ask him where he was in the scene, because one of the truths about God is he's omnipresent. So he has been with you for every moment of your life. He is with you right now, and he will always be with you. He is omnipresent. So he was there for every moment of my life. And so the soul healing process works where you ask the Lord to show you a scene that caused great trauma, and he can do one or two things. He can show you exactly where he was and what he was doing at the time, or he can give you a reframed way to look at the memory and change it a little so that you have an understanding about something about the person who hurt you or something like that. And it facilitates you getting free and finding forgiveness and releasing trauma in your life. Well, anyway, I was taking Prayers That Heal the Heart, and it was time for me to ask the Lord to take me to a scene. So I decided to ask him to take me back to the scene of my heartbreak in 1979, just 2 days after receiving Christ. And as the previous story shared, I got back and my boyfriend broke up with me. I am really wrecked. So the Lord takes me back. This is what that was like. It was like Scrooge, where Scrooge goes back to the past and he sees himself in the past, but he's also standing with the angel. So in my case, I was standing with Jesus, observing the scene of myself crying on my bed in my dorm room. And I could see Jesus next to me on the bed, kneeling down next to me as I'm crying on the bed. And the first thing I noticed about that scene that kind of surprised me is not that Jesus was there with me or anything. It was that I could see the room exactly as it was, as clear as day. Oh yeah, I did have plants in the window, and it was that color. And so that was wild. But anyway, all right, I'm back now, and it's time. And I see that Jesus, the Jesus with the younger me, is leaning forward, and he starts to whisper something in my ear. So I quickly go over and listen for what he is sharing to my younger self. And immediately in the top right corner of my imagination, of my mind, I'm able to see the words coming out of his mouth as he's whispering into me being typed on a paper, appearing on a paper as he was speaking them. And they were the words of the love letter that he gave me that I shared about in that last episode. So I'm like, whoa. So I had always wondered if that original love letter was only sent to me or if it was something that had been passed around for generations, even as the Catholics assume St. Francis of Padua was responsible. But no, he was speaking that to me in that moment, and it was getting typed on a paper in heaven. And the next scene that I saw was Jesus handing that letter to Maureen as an angel in heaven and giving her the assignment to give it to me, which is just so crazy. So that was really cool. And then I saw another scene. The scenes are flipping now, almost like vignettes, quickly in my mind. And the next scene I saw is me on the hallway phone, because back in the day, there wasn't even phones in every room. There was a hallway phone, and I was calling, and the frat boys, if you remember that last story, who answered the phone, are talking to me, and I'm arguing. So in this scene, I watch myself on the phone with Jesus next to me, and he's whispering in my ear, "You don't need her anymore. You have me. You don't need her anymore. You have me." And he's saying it over and over. And then the next scene, I see Maureen with me as a child. I'm about 5 or 6 years old, and my sister and I are sitting on the back of our powder blue station wagon at a drive-in movie. And we're sitting there with Candy, swinging our legs on the back of this station wagon, and she's sitting with me. And I'm like, whoa, is she my guardian angel? And the Lord says, yeah. And the next thing I know, I am back in my special place. My special place is the spiritual place that I teach people how to have for themselves, where you can always find Jesus. And I will link below the trailer episode of Experience Jesus with Dr. Patty Sadallah podcast, where you learn the biblical foundation of establishing a special place. And I lead you to your own special place encounter so that you can have a place that you can go and see Jesus. I always see him there as a child. So the next thing I know, I'm in my special place, sitting on a grassy knoll with Jesus. And I asked, so she's my guardian angel? And he said, yeah. And I said, can I meet her? And he said, sure. And so the next thing I know, she comes walking up the hill, and she looks very similar. She looks the age she was when I met her. She has wings now, though. So she comes up, and she's not wearing glasses. She still has dark curly hair. She looks just like she looked before. She comes up to me with a big smile, and I'm able to give her a hug, and I can feel the power and the might of her wings when I hug her. It was so cool. So I have this conversation, and then the Lord begins to talk to me about how to cooperate with the ministry of angels. And so I have a podcast episode also linked below that talks to you about the do's and don'ts of encountering and engaging with your angels. There are 333 verses in the Bible about angels, and they teach us what their ministry's for, how to cooperate with them so that they can help you, how to pray according to God's will for dispatching angels for assignments. So I learned about that, and I learned some things that are in that episode about what you never do. You never pray to the angel. You ask the Lord how the angel can help, and then you dispatch them accordingly. And so since then, Maureen and I have had many adventures together. So the point for you is that you have a guardian angel, or two or three, and it's okay to ask to meet them, which is really neat. Ask the Lord how they can help you, how they have helped you. And quite honestly, they love to help. That's what they were created for. And they are always in God's presence. The Lord said that they are the most joyful of all of his creation because they're in his presence all the time. So this one goes out to you, Maureen. Thank you for everything you do. Please like and subscribe to this channel. And if you missed the last episode, I hope you catch it. And my next few episodes will be about healing miracles. So I hope you catch me on those. And thanks for listening. Bye.